All right, so you want to be a vehicle glazier, huh? Well, you've come to the right place. We're going to take a deep dive into all this research you've got on this career path. Looks like some pretty good stuff here. Let's see if becoming a vehicle glazier is the right move for you.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot more than just replacing windshields, that's for
Oh,
sure.
way more. One of the things that really stood out to me was all the detail involved. This isn't just about slapping in any old piece of glass.
hmm
This source even mentions, what's it called? OE Wizard software. Have you heard of that?
OE Wizard. Yeah, it's a total game changer. Basically, it's computer-aided design software, but specifically for vehicle glaziers. I mean, think about it. Cars nowadays have sensors and cameras everywhere, even heads-up displays in the windshield. OE Wizard helps technicians recalibrate all those fancy gadgets after they've done a replacement.
Oh, right. So you don't want your lane departure warning going off just because you got a new windshield.
Yeah.
It really is crazy how much tech is packed into vehicles these days.
And that actually brings up a really important point. If you want to cut it as a vehicle glazier, you can't just be good with your hands. You got to be a tech enthusiast too. There's always something new to learn in this field.
Yeah, it's like a really cool blend of old and new, right? You're using stuff like
hmm
glass cutters one day, then you're calibrating some crazy driver assistance system the next. But okay, I have to ask, with all this talk about, technology and precision and all that,
hmm
what about the actual work environment? Is it as demanding as they say?
Well, yeah, I guess you could say that's the trade-off, right? You get to work with your hands, you get to solve problems, you see those tangible results, but it can be physically demanding, that's for sure. You're going to be on your feet a lot, you're moving heavy glass, sometimes you're practically a contortionist trying to get into these weird positions just to get the job done. And then there's the weather, working outside in the summer heat or the freezing cold. It's not always going to be fun.
Okay, so you're saying you got to have some grit, you got to be resilient. This definitely isn't an office job. But for someone who likes that kind of challenge, I could see how it could be really rewarding.
Oh, it absolutely is. Just imagine you take a completely shattered windshield and you make it good as new. Or think about the feeling when you've perfectly installed a complex sunroof on, a super expensive car. It's pretty great.
That's more than just a job at that point. It's a craft. You take pride in your work. You're a master. I like it.
Right. And let's not forget about the demand. Vehicle glaziers are needed everywhere, and people are always going to need their car windows fixed, so the work is usually pretty steady.
Yeah, that's a great point. Job security is huge these days. Speaking of which, what does the career path actually look like for someone just starting out?
Well, it's usually a pretty structured path, which is great for anyone who wants, a clear career progression. Most people start as apprentices.
Right, because you wouldn't want some random person who's never even touched a windshield working on your car.
No way. Apprenticeships are really all about, hands-on learning. You'd be paired up with a more experienced glazer, someone who can show you the ropes. So you're assisting on installations, learning all the different types of glass and adhesives, getting comfortable with all the tools. It's like paying your dues, but you're also learning a ton.
Yeah, I bet there's a lot of those little tricks of the trade that you just wouldn't learn in a classroom.
Oh, totally. Things like knowing how to read all those crazy manufacturer specs or being able to tell the difference between all the types of damage, knowing when to use a certain type of adhesive, it all comes with experience.
Okay, so let's say you've put in your time as an apprentice. You move up to junior vehicle glazier. What actually changes?
So that's when you really start, getting to do more on your own. You're handling more installations independently, but you'll still have those more senior glaziers there to guide you if you need it. It's all about building your speed, getting your technique down, starting to really develop your own problem-solving skills.
And I bet that's also when that whole meticulous attention to detail thing really kicks in. No more, that's good enough installations.
Nope, not anymore. As a junior vehicle glazier, it's on you to make sure everything meets the industry standards. You're checking for leaks, making sure the glass is perfectly aligned, making sure all those sensors and cameras still work. Everything.
So it's about building your reputation.
Exactly. Then, as you get more experience, more confidence, you'll move up to experienced vehicle glazier.
Okay, so now we're talking about a real pro. What sets apart an experienced vehicle glazier from someone who's just starting out?
It's really a combination of expertise and efficiency. At that level, you're the one who can handle any type of vehicle glazing job. Anything from a simple window regulator replacement to a really complex windshield recalibration. You're the go-to person for the tough installations. You might even be training and mentoring some of the junior glaziers.
So not only are you a master at what you do, but you're starting to take on more of a leadership role too.
Yeah, exactly. And for anyone who's like, really entrepreneurial, that experience can be what you need to go out and start your own vehicle glazing business.
That's cool. And we've talked about how important it is to build that strong portfolio, showing off your work. But imagine taking it even further and creating your own brand, your own customer base.
Oh, it's definitely possible in this field. Hard work, dedication, a commitment to quality, you can go from apprentice to business owner.
That's a heck of a career path, from apprentice all the way to owning the business. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's talk about that top rung on the ladder. What does it take to actually become like a senior vehicle glazier?
Well, it's like, the top of the mountain in this field,
Yeah.
Senior vehicle glaziers, they're the masters. Years of experience, they understand every single little thing about vehicle glazing.
Right.
They could be running teams of glaziers, managing those really big projects, maybe even coming up with new installation techniques.
So you're not just talking about technical skills anymore. You need some serious communication and management skills too.
Oh, absolutely. You're the one who has to keep those standards high, the quality, the safety. You're training the newer glaziers, making sure every single job gets done right, on time, and the customer's happy. It's a lot,
Yeah, sounds like the buck stops with you at that point. No pressure.
pretty much. But, with that responsibility comes a lot of respect. Senior vehicle glaziers are like the rock stars of the industry. Everyone knows what they're capable of.
And the paychecks probably reflect that, right?
Oh, yeah. You can bet on that, especially if you've got like those specialized skills or if you're working in an area where there's just huge demand, you can make a really good living.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. Everything from the actual work itself, getting your hands dirty, to what you can expect to earn, how your career could progress. But I can't stop thinking about something you mentioned earlier about how technology is changing everything. What do you think the future holds for vehicle glaziers? I mean, is it even going to be a job in the future?
That's the million-dollar question, right? Because the car industry is changing so fast. Electric vehicles, self-driving cars, all these crazy new safety features. Vehicles are way more complicated than they used to be, so vehicle glaziers are going to have to keep up.
It's not just about, like you said, slapping in a new windshield.
Nope, not anymore. The windshield on a self-driving car, that's basically a giant computer. Vehicle glaziers are going to have to be comfortable working with all that, making sure those sensors are calibrated, making sure everything just works.
So basically what you're saying is, if you want to do this job, you better be ready to keep learning your whole life.
You got it. Vehicle glaziers who can roll with the punches, learn the new tech as it comes out, those are the ones who are going to make it.
So there you have it.
Yeah.
It sounds like becoming a vehicle glazier, it's not going to be easy, but it can be a really rewarding path. And hey, who knows? Maybe someday you'll be the one installing the panoramic sunroof on a flying car. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us. Until next time.